So there is a really dangerous Roblox scam that's been going around and gaining popularity that I have personally never heard of until now, and I want to tell you guys about it because it's not just targeting popular developers, it can actually target people like you, even people without platforms, and so I do want to talk about it because it's obviously very important, and this is actually really high-risk scam that there's a lot more at stake than just your Roblox account, your banking information, your personal details, and your home address can actually get leaked. So I want to talk about this with you guys, just so you guys are aware of it and how to avoid it, because honestly, I've never heard of anything like this in my life, and it's really scary. So anyways, with that being said, yesterday I watched a video on YouTube by a creator called Vaulted, where basically he discussed a situation with a Roblox developer called Simply a Lemon. Now, I would like to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, I watched that video, that's how I learned about this, and then I did my own research on top of that. But his video will be linked in the description below if you guys would like to watch it, because I thought it was a really well-made video. It was very clear at explaining what happened. Now basically, from what I understand, there's a developer called Simply a Lemon, who you may not recognize her name, but you will certainly recognize her UGC content. UGC stands for User Generated Content on the Roblox platform, so things like hairs, accessories, hoods, stuff like that. Now, Simply a Lemon has been a UGC creator for a while now, and I think some of you guys may not know this, but UGC used to be a private program. So basically you had to submit an application and they would accept Roblox developers and waves to the program to start selling items on the Roblox marketplace. Now, this was a couple years ago when it was a lot more regulated and before it was public, but she was one of the creators that was accepted into the early waves of user-generated content programs. And she actually became a very successful, and is still a very successful developer on the Roblox platform and has thousands of items in the shop. Now, with her being such a popular Roblox developer, it would make sense that she has people asking her for interviews or just want to ask her questions about her work. And because of that, she has a YouTube channel where she actually posts a ton of tutorials, which kind of just goes to show like what a kind person she is. She's trying to help teach people how to do the same thing she does, when in reality, she could just sit here and gatekeep. So I think that really is a testament to her kindness. Now, what ends up happening is, from what I understand, on one of her Twitter posts, an account commented saying they would like to interview her about her UGC and just being a Roblox developer because she's a pretty popular and well-known developer. Now, this obviously isn't something that's uncommon because she is pretty well-known, and the account that commented it was an account that had followers, it had interactions, it had posts, it had been made a couple years ago. Now, we later find out that these accounts are actually purchased and botted, which basically means that OG Twitter accounts, so Twitter accounts made way back like 10 years ago, are hacked into by hackers, and then they're put on a web where people can then buy these accounts for like $1 and end up using these accounts to make it look like they're more legit. Because obviously, if someone made their account yesterday, you're not going to trust them as much as somebody who's been on the platform for 10 plus years, because you'd assume someone with an account that old probably isn't out there scamming, because otherwise they'd be banned, right? So these accounts will purchase old accounts to then try to put on this facade that they're reliable people, and they will actually spend money to get people to like and comment to their stuff, which is actually just bots, and they'll pay for followers and interactions, all that sort of stuff, right? Basically just in an effort to make them look legitimate. Now, from what I understand, which I'm a little bit confused in this part, I may be wrong, but I guess someone left a comment on one of her posts, and then they ended up talking over Discord or something, and then ended up setting a time to have a Zoom call where she, talking about Simply a Lemon, would be interviewed about her UGC process and kind of what she does, right? And so she said she hops on this conference call on Zoom and is met by two men, which, you know, she didn't really think much of. And then one of the men explains how the other one only speaks Polish. And for them to have this conference call, it would be helpful if Simply a Lemon could turn her Zoom account into the Polish language. So basically just change the language in her settings so that it could then transcribe what she was saying to the guy who spoke Polish so that he could understand what she was saying. Now, transcribing basically just means that as she was talking, it would write down what she was saying and explain it to the Polish guy so that he could understand, right? And so, you know, Simply Lemon, trying to be nice, was like, oh yeah, sure, like no worries. And she changes her Zoom account into Polish. Then I guess she's in the process of trying to share her screen with them. And the scammers, these people that she's speaking with that are apparently interviewing her, are kind of guiding her through how to turn on share her screen. And keep in mind, everything on her screen is Polish now. So she doesn't know if it's saying yes or no, or what the buttons are saying. And so she's just trusting what these people are telling her. Well, it turns out that these scammers are getting her to give them remote access to her computer. Now, if you don't know what remote access is, if you've ever seen scammer catching videos, specifically with Microsoft support, where these scammers will pose as Microsoft support and say, oh, yeah, just give me remote access to your computer. It basically allows them to use their keyboard and their mouse from their house or wherever they're working to control your computer without even needing to be in the same room, which is obviously very scary. Now, I guess what ended up happening from this was they got remote access to her computer. She didn't realize, obviously, because everything was in Polish. She didn't understand that's what was happening. And then within a little bit here, she has found out that they hacked into her Roblox account, they hacked into her Twitter, they hacked into her Discord, and they stole like all these files from her computer. And basically, they took it as an opportunity to just do horrible things. From what it sounds like, I guess they took money that she had on her computer and were buying KFC and a bunch of food and sending it to her home. So they found out her home address, right? Because when you think about it, you have a ton of personal information stored on your computer. You have stuff like your login information and, banking details maybe and stuff like that, and maybe documents with your mailing address on it, right? Or even in your Google account. I know you can put in personal information and people can see stuff about that, right? And so these scammers found out all this information and were just, I guess, for funsies, sending her a ton of food that ended up going to waste, was spending her money on this food, right? It just kept getting food sent to her house, which is a really malicious thing to do. And then they ended up, I guess, just like spying on her, she said, through her camera, which is really scary to think about, and like listening to her. A huge violation of privacy. That's just really creepy and gross, and a good reason as to why I don't have a webcam on my computer. I know it may not make sense, but I actually use my phone to track my face when I use this VTuber model because I don't want to have a webcam on my computer. I just think it's kind of sketchy. And so basically what ended up happening was they just ended up, I thought they would have blackmailed her, honestly, which blackmail is when you kind of like threaten somebody by saying like, oh, if you don't do what I want, then I'll delete your Roblox account or something. But that didn't seem to be their intention. They just wanted to, I guess, mess with her and ended up turning her Roblox profile into saying disgusting, disturbing things. And were using her Twitter account to say gross things. And it was just a whole situation where they are basically just trying to make her look like a bad person, which is really scary. And then according to, I've seen different, like varying opinions on this, but some people were saying that her account was banned by Roblox because of what the scammers were saying. And other people, including a large developer, was saying that her account was banned at a request of like people around her so that her money, her Robux, couldn't be devexed and sent to these scammers. So I don't fully know why she was banned or if she'll get her account back, but that seems to be what happened. She ended up getting her account banned. Some people say it was like in an effort to maintain her account and to keep it from being further damaged, but I don't know. But long story short, she lost a bunch of her UGC files, a bunch of her content. She lost a ton of Robux, a ton of real life money. And obviously that's a really bad situation to be in, especially when it sounds like she relies on this kind of money to pay for all of her bills, which is really disheartening. Now, there are situations with this similar kind of scam where just everyday people are getting targeted. And you may think, well, I don't have a ton of Robux. I'm not like well known. So what would they blackmail me with? Like, I'm just a nobody on Roblox. But the truth is, people who are trying to take advantage of you will use any information they have access to. So example, maybe you're not a well-known person, but maybe on your computer, you have some information about the school you go to, or you have maybe like a piece of, I don't know, banking information that has your full legal name on it and your mailing address. These scammers can then take that information and threaten to post it everywhere if you don't do certain things or give them a certain amount of money or stuff like that, which is what makes this so dangerous because it's really putting your privacy on the line and jeopardizing your safety. And in exchange, these scammers are just trying to take advantage of you and steal your information to then use it against you, which is a really creepy thing to do in my opinion. Now, with that in mind, Simply Lemon did post a response, and she actually posted this on a new Twitter account, I guess, because her old one has just been tainted with terrible things from the scammers. And so she wrote, I just want to start off by saying I'm beyond appalled that you guys had to witness such disgusting, gross, inhumane words coming from my account. I would never say any of those things. It hurts to see how cruel people can truly be. That obviously was not me. I was hacked very badly. I want to thank everyone deeply who DM'd me, showed their support, gathered friends and connections. I cannot express enough gratitude towards you guys. It gives me hope to recover from this. If you guys wouldn't mind retweeting and sharing this message to bring awareness and hopefully get my accounts restored, specifically my Discord and Roblox. My old Twitter will stay deactivated. I do not want to associate with the account after the vile things it said. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what vile things were said. I'm a little bit confused. I've heard differing reports, but unless something's been fully substantiated, I don't want to talk on it, but it just sounds like the scammers were saying inappropriate things on her account, and it's just really damaging because obviously she's a well-known Roblox developer, she has professional ties with Roblox, and she's spent years building these accounts, and it's not easy to build a following on platforms like Twitter, and it's not easy to be recognized on Roblox when there's so much competition. So to have basically your life's work ruined by two people who just want to troll you and be terrible people is honestly very disheartening and really sad. So With that in mind, in this same thread, she just goes on to say that all her computer work files are gone and wiped. And then she says, they spent my money on tons and tons of food. They were spying on me with a camera and mic. My Discord is gone with all my YouTube stuff and UGC. My Robux is gone, which was my income. It's just heartbreaking, the whole situation. And then you have lots of famous YouTubers commenting on this stuff because this has become a pretty big problem, obviously, because this is someone who is a hardworking Roblox developer and they just got taken advantage of, which is honestly just super disheartening and really scary because you never think this could happen to you, and you think, oh, well, I have two-factor authentication on my phone, I have, this on my email, I have this and that, but you never think that these scammers are going to have access to your devices. You just think, oh, they're trying to get access to your accounts, and that's why you have all these safeguards. But when someone has remote access to your computer, they don't have to do any of that stuff because you're already logged in. It's your home computer. Your computer recognizes your accounts. It's seen as like a safe device for your accounts to be on. And so it's just really scary and a huge invasion of privacy to have people basically spying on you through your computer without even knowing it. So anyways, I just wanted to share the situation with you guys to bring awareness to what happened to Simply a Lemon and to talk about my thoughts on it because honestly, this is very scary and has encouraged me to be extra careful whenever I'm clicking on something, especially Zoom, because you never think Zoom, like this video calling app for boomers, is going to be some dangerous thing, but the fact that they have a remote access feature is very scary and definitely I don't think should be allowed on at least basic Zoom. Like, I know some people might have a problem with this, but I feel like if scammers had to pay for these features, they probably wouldn't use them because they don't want to have to pay for anything. They just want to steal money. But regardless, this is a super disheartening situation. And I just want to share it with you guys so you guys can be aware of this because they're not just going to be targeting large creators on Roblox. This could also impact you, and you want to protect your personal privacy and safety. So please just remember to never get into calls with people you don't know. Be very wary of any links you're clicking. And please don't change your stuff into any other language. Obviously, this is not Simply Lemon's fault. She didn't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I probably would have gotten tricked by it too. It just seems like such a convoluted way to scam somebody. It's just such a complex and weird thing to do. It's also weird to think that there's people out there that are wanting to victimize people like Simply Lemon who have been, positive creators in the Roblox space. But regardless, just be super careful, guys, and I hope you guys are staying safe. Remember, again, don't talk to people you don't know, and just be very, very careful anytime you are online because you want to protect your privacy and your device because at the end of the day, you think people might hack into Roblox accounts, but it seems like people might be actually able to hack into your devices, which is, in my opinion, 1,000 times more scary. So anyways, with all that in mind, be safe, you guys, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!